The Fifth Element wasn't a film. It was a wild fever dream that crash-landed into Hollywood wearing platform boots and leopard print. It had laser guns, space opera, alien languages, and a hero who just wanted to take a nap. But beneath the neon madness, chaos. Real chaos. Casting swaps, melting suits, a diva heartbreak, and a script that wouldn't die. Here are 20 outrageous truths buried inside sci-fi's weirdest cult classic. Number 1. Luc Besson wasn't born in a film studio. He was born in the quiet corners of France, far from red carpets or camera rigs. At 16, while other kids were figuring out what job to get, he was busy building galaxies. No formal training, no industry parents, just raw imagination. He wrote characters like Lilu and Zorg before he could legally drive. They weren't movie roles, they were survival tools. His notebook became his universe, a way out of loneliness. 2 decades later, that teenage escape plan exploded into one of the wildest, most expensive sci-fi films of its time. It wasn't just a movie, it was a rescue mission written in alien ink, powered by dreams and aimed straight at Earth. Number 2. The Fifth Element we saw was a fraction of the madness Besson originally imagined. His first draft wasn't a screenplay, it was a galactic bible, over 400 pages long. It spanned multiple planets, dozens of species, and centuries of interstellar drama. There were political revolutions, extinct civilizations, entire religious orders built just to explain a single prop. Studio execs took one look and panicked. "Pick one story," they begged. So Besson carved away the chaos, sculpted it down to one film. But like an iceberg, most of it stayed hidden. What hit theaters in 1997 was just the tip. The rest still lives in storage boxes, early sketches, and a Frenchman's brain that refuses to slow down. Somewhere out there, a trilogy still waits to be born. Number 3. Bruce Willis wasn't the first choice. Not even close. The studio wanted Mel Gibson, fresh off Braveheart, Hollywood royalty, tough and brooding. But Luc Besson wasn't sold. He needed someone who could fight space goblins and deliver deadpan sarcasm with a smirk. Gibson felt too dramatic, too medieval. So Besson gambled on Bruce, and that gamble paid in cosmic gold. Willis brought the shrug, the smirk, the tired guy energy that somehow worked better than all the muscle in Hollywood. With Mel, it might have been epic. With Bruce, it was iconic. Because Corbin Dallas didn't need a sword. He needed a smoke, a cab, and a punchline. Number 4. B. Gary Oldman didn't chase the role of Zorg. He didn't even read the script. He said yes before page 1, because Luc Besson had produced Nil by mouth, Oldman's gritty personal project. So when Besson needed a villain with half a plastic helmet and a Texas meets Tchaikovsky accent, Oldman paid the favor back. Privately, he didn't understand the movie at all. "I had no clue what it was about," he later admitted. But that didn't stop him. He showed up, chewed scenery like it owed him rent, and turned Zorg into a cartoon villain dipped in oil. He hated the movie. Fans, they worshipped it. Proof that sometimes even confusion can look like genius if you do it loud enough. Number 5. 8,000 actresses, big names, rising stars. Theater kids with alien accents and dramatic eyebrows, all auditioning to be Lilu. And still, none of them felt right. Then Mila Jovovich walked in. No big entrance, no forced weirdness, just a quiet presence that felt otherworldly. Luc Besson said it hit him instantly. "She's not from Earth," he thought. She didn't act alien, she was alien. Not polished, not perfect, just pure. Out of 8,000 women, she was the one who didn't try to perform. She existed, and in doing so, she became Lilu. Those orange straps, they weren't just a costume, they were a calling. and she wore them like destiny. Number 6. She was tall, elegant, painted blue, and possessed the voice of the galaxy. The diva wasn't just an alien, she was Luc Besson's wife. Her name was Mai Wen, a French actress and director with her own spotlight. But while she sang her way into cinematic legend, her real-life love story was cracking. Because off-screen, Besson had fallen for Mila. What started as language lessons turned into late-night script rewrites, and soon, romance. Quiet, complicated, and very real. By the time filming wrapped, Mai Wen was out, Mila was in, and the movie captured more than just sci-fi magic. It captured heartbreak. Watch closely and you'll see it. Two luminous women orbiting one man on and off screen. Number 7. Lilu's divine language wasn't gibberish. It wasn't random sounds glued together in post. It was a fully built, 400-word alien language Besson created for the script. And as he fell for Mila Jovovich, it turned into something more. They started speaking it between takes, scribbling notes in it, flirting in a tongue no one else on set could understand. It became their secret code, a galaxy only they shared. The romance eventually faded, but the language stayed. Every syllable in the film was fluent, practiced, personal. Alien on screen, intimate in real life. It wasn't just dialogue. It was a love letter written in stardust and syllables. Number 8. Lilu didn't just look powerful, she fought like a weapon forged from lightning. And that wasn't camera trickery. That was Mila Jovovich. She trained for weeks, memorized choreography, practiced wire work, took hits, threw kicks, and nailed every flip. No stunt double in that iconic hallway fight. That was Mila, raw, fast, and relentless. She wanted Lilu to feel real, not just look it. Bruises, sweat, and all. She didn't flinch, she attacked. And in doing so, she redefined what it meant to be a sci-fi heroine. Not perfect, not polished, just furious, focused, and on fire. Number 9. Zorg's all-in-one Death Blaster wasn't just a flashy prop. It actually worked. At least the flamethrower part did. The prop department built a fully functioning, fire-spewing version for test shots, and instantly regretted it. During one demo, the flame shot too high, licked the ceiling, and sent the crew diving for extinguishers. No one got hurt, but the message was clear. The fifth element wasn't pretending to be dangerous. It was dangerous. And that's exactly how Besson liked it. Nothing safe, nothing soft. Even the props came with a fire hazard warning and a side of chaos. Number 10. You remember them, those giant armored aliens waddling through temples in the opening scene. They moved like sloths in a sauna. But that wasn't a performance choice. It was heat exhaustion. The actors inside those foam monstrosities wore 80-pound suits with no ventilation, no fans, no brakes. One guy passed out mid-shoot and had to be pulled out like a soggy sock. Every slow step you saw, that was survival. Every pause, a desperate gasp for air. Besson called it realism. The crew called it madness. But somehow, it worked. They looked ancient, regal, slow with purpose. The truth? They were just trying not to die on camera. Number 11. Ruby Rod wasn't subtle. He was a human firework with a glitter mic and leopard print screams. But the real madness wasn't in the acting, it was in the outfit. Jean-Paul Gaultier designed Tucker's wardrobe to look alien, not feel comfortable. The main costume had a rigid spine, weighed nearly 50 pounds, and made sitting completely impossible. Tucker couldn't rest between takes. He leaned on walls, he sweated through scenes. He stayed upright for hours while shrieking, bouncing, and delivering one of the loudest performances in sci-fi history. The costume was a prison, but he made it a party. Because Ruby Rhod didn't need comfort, he needed chaos, and Chris Tucker gave it, breathless and brilliant. Number 12. You'd think a giant indoor explosion would be CGI, not in The Fifth Element. That iconic scene where the Diva's concert hall gets blown to bits? It was real, a full-scale set, a one-take detonation. No green screens, no safety net. They loaded the walls with charges, prepped dozens of cameras, and hoped it wouldn't go sideways. One mistake, and the shot, and the set, was gone forever. But when it went off, perfect chaos. It became the largest indoor explosion ever captured on film at the time. You could feel the blast, see every shard of destruction. Besson didn't want digital dust. He wanted debris, he wanted fire, he wanted risk, and he got it on the first and only try. Number 13. In most movies, the hero and villain face off. They yell, they fight, someone wins. But in The Fifth Element, Corbin Dallas and Zorg never meet. Not once. They're in the same story, chasing the same goal, but orbiting each other like rival planets. It wasn't an accident. Besson designed it that way. He wanted the conflict to ripple through actions, not arguments. Their battle is indirect, messages, explosions, consequences. No final punch, no dramatic stare down. And somehow, it works. The tension builds anyway. The stakes feel real. And the absence of a showdown makes everything feel off-kilter. Which in this movie is perfect. Because sometimes your greatest enemy isn't someone you fight. It's someone you never get to. Number 14. Most sci-fi hides in darkness, metal hallways, smoky rooms, shadowy battles. But Besson said, no thanks. He wanted light, color, visibility. So he lit everything like a surreal midday dream. Blue skies, white corridors, neon explosions, full exposure. It was a massive risk. Bright light meant you could see every floor, every prop, every costume seam, every effect. But that was the point. Besson believed the future didn't have to be grim. It could be wild, loud, and alive. He let the camera soak in every outrageous detail. And somehow, instead of exposing the cracks, the light made the chaos shine. The Fifth Element didn't hide its madness. It lit it like art and dared you to look closer. Number 15. Before Chris Tucker screamed into stardom as Ruby Rhod, that role belonged to Prince. Yes, the Prince. Besson wrote it for him. Voice, vibe, velvet energy. Prince was interested. He read the script. He agreed to a meeting. And then he saw the costumes, lace, mesh, arched heels, and a plunging neckline that could stop traffic. Prince, the man who wore buttless pants to the VMAs, said it was too much. Too feminine, too far, even for him. So he walked. Besson pivoted to Chris Tucker, and everything changed. Tucker brought a new energy, frenzied, fast, hilarious, but you can still feel it, that whisper of royalty. Because in another dimension, Ruby isn't screaming, he's singing. Number 16. When The Fifth Element premiered at Cannes, people booed loudly. Critics called it ridiculous, incoherent, a mess of fashion, noise, and nonsense. But then something weird happened. Audiences loved it, especially young ones. They quoted Ruby Rhod. They obsessed over Lilu's hair. They rewatched the Diva's scene on repeat. The reviews faded. The fandom grew. Conventions, tattoos, video game Easter eggs. What critics dismissed as chaos, fans celebrated as freedom. It didn't follow rules, it set them on fire. Today, The Fifth Element isn't just a cult classic, it's a cinematic unicorn, proof that sometimes weird wins. And if Cannes couldn't see it, that's fine. The rest of the galaxy did. Number 17. Jean-Paul Gaultier didn't just design costumes, he built a universe. Over 1,000 handcrafted outfits, no repeats, no background filler. Every alien species had a code, fabrics, shapes, accessories, meanings. The Mondoshawan were ancient tanks. The Mangalores were metal chaos. Flight attendants looked like runway models from Mars. Even cab drivers had mirrored jackets and custom gloves. Besson didn't want sci-fi armor. He wanted fashion storytelling. Characters didn't need dialogue, you could read their whole culture by the cut of their collar. It wasn't efficient, it wasn't easy, but it was unforgettable. Because in The Fifth Element, world building wasn't in exposition, it was stitched into every sleeve. Number 18. Those massive Mondoshawan ships weren't just big, they were ancient. Not in age, in inspiration. Besson designed them using Egyptian geometry, rounded tops, thick bases, gold engravings. The idea that maybe aliens didn't build the pyramids. Maybe they were the pyramids. The ship design blended science fiction technology with spiritual myth. They looked like temples with engines, symbols of forgotten knowledge and divine power. It wasn't spelled out in the script, but it didn't need to be. It was there in the shapes, the glow, the silence. The Fifth Element didn't just imagine the future. It pulled the past into orbit and gave it rocket fuel. Number 19. Flying cars, neon towers, glowing cityscapes, it looked like CGI, but most of it wasn't. The Fifth Element used old-school miniatures, just like Star Wars. Dozens of tiny skyscrapers, highways, and taxi routes were built by hand. They filmed them using motion control cameras, then layered in digital effects for the glow and motion. The result? A future that felt tangible, real shadows, real depth. It didn't float. It stood. You could pause the movie and see the fingerprints. That blend of old and new gave the film its texture, its chaos, its weight. The Fifth Element's future wasn't just imagined, it was handcrafted, and that made all the difference. Number 20. The Fifth Element was a French production. French money, French director, French vision. So why is it in English? Survival. Besson knew he had something wild, experimental, bright, expensive. And if he wanted global screens, he needed global language. So he cast American stars, shot at Pinewood Studios in London, and let Hollywood help market the madness. It worked. Despite the accents and the chaos, the movie made over $260 million worldwide. It became the most successful French film ever released internationally, because sometimes to tell your weirdest story, you have to speak the world's language, even if that story involves blue divas and flaming guns. If this wild ride through cosmic chaos blew your mind, hit that subscribe button. We've got more movie secrets, cult classics, and cinematic madness coming your way. Don't miss it.